I believe that, there's people out there that truly have a calling in their lives and that need help. That a lot of people are not really, they don't really take them into consideration. Like, they have this image of these individuals as people with no hope. Regardless of that, God met me where I was at, not to excuse anything, but to show the power of His mercy and grace on me.
So, cycle breakers, we start out usually with the guys that are incarcerated in either county or state prisons. They reach out to us via phone call. They inquire about how they can partner with us or mentor or get Bible studies with inside the prison. A lot of them reach out to us anywhere from 5 years to 6 months prior to release, looking for a home to come to or a program to come to when they are released from prison and go on parole. Outside the walls, what we do is we actually partner with guys either in their own home setting where they're able to go home and live with their family, or actually in our house where we help them to reintegrate back into society to prevent recidivism.
The path and journey that led me to CycleBreakers started all from the day that I was in my mother's stomach. She was sitting at an abortion table, and that led to a very dark life. It came to a point where, I heard a lot of people, to the point where I almost took someone's life in an accident. Probably that led to one of the darkest moments that I ever had in my life. But again, God kept showing up.
And so then, fast forwarding to 2020, during the pandemic, I got a phone call in September and the wee hours of the morning saying that my brother had been hit by someone under the influence, and it was devastating because he was on a motorcycle and they weren't sure if he was going to live, and that I was his next of kin. And so I had to start making all those medical decisions and then pursuing justice for him. In November, when we actually were going into the courtroom where the defendant, which is Miguel, and my now husband, was coming into the room. So from there, he pled guilty and he asked to be sentenced that day. So we had an opportunity to speak in the courtroom as his family. And I got up and I spoke and I told him, and I led with that I choose forgiveness. On Sunday after the sentencing, which was about 3 days after the sentencing, I reached out to the district attorney. So he pretty much gave me everything I needed to know to be able to find him in prison, to write him that first letter of forgiveness.
So one day I received a letter of forgiveness in the mail. There was my now wife, Sabrina, just to forgive me, that what I did, it wasn't okay, but that there's still time for me to hit the reset button in my life, and that I could still, do something with it. And I decided to pick up a pen and to write Sabrina and let her know, I feel like, like I need to write you this letter. Can you please help me find God?
And then the next one, I think, was the one where he said, will you help me find God? I seem to have lost him. And that catapulted into, he started sharing the letters in prison to his guys on the yard. And they started using my letters, and they said, can you ask her to write all of us? So I agreed, as long as they asked the questions. You can ask anything and I'll bring it to biblical principle. That's how CycleBreakers started.
What brought CycleBreakers to my life was, first off, Sabrina. It was my very first time at church, at E2 Church, serving, and that was the day I was supposed to serve on my creative team. I wasn't as needed there, so I went over to the food area where they prep all the food, and Sabrina was there, and I got to spend my first day ever serving at a church with her, and she just made me feel so welcomed and so loved, and it was so easy for me to talk to her.
I love that nothing stops her, that she is a go-getter, and when she says something, she means it and she does it. And so it's easy to get behind her in this ministry for that reason, just knowing that what is given to her is going to be put to good use. What is put in her hands, she's going to make sure she does her absolute best with it. And I'm very much the same way. And so I just love that we could connect in that way.
And down the road, when I heard about her story and what was taking place, it just rocked my socks off. I was in awe of like what God was doing.
So actually, I heard about CycleBreakers from a client. I was referring a client to a church, and then the client turned around and handed me a CycleBreakers card. I seen the card, and I'm like, okay, me being formerly incarcerated, I seen that they help inmates, you know, and then I gave Sabrina a call, and yeah, and then once I set up the meeting and actually got to meet Sabrina, Sammy, and Miguel, and then kind of just looked at the house. I liked what I seen, so instantly I knew I wanted to help build them up and be a part of it.
Obviously, just supporting her is first of all, I mean, she's a sister in Christ, and we have the same heart for just reaching people and bringing hope.
It's like a family, you know, like how everybody wants to like help. Like everybody's already been through it. Me being formerly incarcerated, me actually being on the streets as a teenager, and then from just speaking and getting to know the other CycleBreakers, we all have similar stories, you know. To see everybody just turn that around and to start like building up their families and building up the community, it's inspirational.
So it's just a very exciting time to be a part of it.
Well, CycleBreakers has helped me, you know, reintegrate into life, you know, the right way, you know.
I was on the border of being homeless, going back to Los Angeles, and pretty much just backtrack, just throw everything away, you know. They gave me hope. They gave me encouragement, and also a lot of love.
There's a lot of things that, you know, CycleBreakers has done for me, and I appreciate it a lot. So specific things that CycleBreakers has helped me with is one, getting my birth certificate, that I never had the chance to get it. I didn't know where to go. Be mindful, I came here from Egypt to America and didn't have enough time to know where everything is at. They actually took me to the place where I can get my birth certificate. They took me to the place where I have to get my ID, which is the DMV. They actually paid for it because I didn't have any money yet. They helped me out with a car, a vehicle, so that I can go from place to place finding work once I got my driver's license. They took me to stores to buy clothes. CycleBreakers themselves placed me in a house and paid for my rent until this CycleBreaker house came about. So that's one big bonus that I love about CycleBreakers.
It's not just professional help that they give, is actually genuine. You know, they're actually good people. Sabrina has actually taken care of me in most ways that a lot of people just shake off. And even my addiction. It's been trips, of course, but the way they give grace, the way they show it, it's unbelievable, man.
I mean, CycleBreakers has done a lot for me, you know, not just as a program, but also me being able to help others. And that also helps me maintain, you know, a foundation, you know, of what it is that I'm called to do. When you have a willing heart, you know, you receive what is given to you and use that, you know, to better yourself.
The importance of CycleBreakers to me is that it gave me a life. It gave me hope. It gave me a place to stay. It gave me shelter. It gave me clothes. It gave me everything.
I believe it's important to give to CycleBreakers because of the people they help out.
There is people out there in need that have a great calling in their lives, that really have no other way to fulfill that.
Your money is going to a place where it is going to be used wisely. It is going to be used to build people up.
People like me coming out of prison have nothing. We don't even have our IDs yet. We don't even have clothes. We don't have nothing. Some of us are still in prison that don't even have family members to take care of us. So when we parole, we're paroling with literally nothing.
Just building the program up so we could eventually branch out and help more individuals, more people. Right now we have one transitional housing, but we would like to expand that, and we would also like to get into like the workforce and basically have jobs lined up so that when a cycle breaker touches down home from incarceration, the first day they already have a job. You know, that's the goal.
This program is very intentional with everything that we do. You know, we take everybody on a personal level and we help them in their walk.
When they are in prison behind the bars, we are that resource. We are the ones that can help them as they're coming out. We are the first place that they're able to turn to and find safety, find comfort, find some guidance, and help people really to get back on their feet.
And so this money is going to a good nonprofit that will be investing it back into the lives of men that are desperately in need of guidance, desperately in need of hope, desperately in need of love.
Your donations to CycleBreakers will actually help, change lives, provide programs that are needed, to help people build a foundation, in their lives. It will also help, house more individuals, that are out there struggling. Provide the fundamentals, the essentials that a person needs to be able to live on a daily basis.
So the fact that we're able to help them with just funding or just groceries or housing, I mean, it's incredible.
So the way that people can help CycleBreakers is obviously monetary donations are important because any program takes funds. And two, donating of their time, talents, and services. So if we have the financial backing and donors that are willing to commit, even if it's $5 a month, or if it's a one-time gift of $500 or $1,000, it's important because it will help us financially sustain. Being able to give participants when they first come out, when they only have $200 gate money, which is really nothing because sometimes that's what it costs them just to get to our program. It gives them the opportunity to have like a $100 gift card for groceries because we only provide the basics right now, but our goal is to have the meals provided. For transportation, we pay for bus passes, so those are things that your financial donations go towards. It goes towards the lease of this property, which ultimately we do see ourselves owning property. It goes towards the fees of just regular overhead of any business, the operation, and being able to really provide the best services possible for these guys. And ultimately right now, we're all volunteer staff. So being able to put ourselves in a place where we're able to provide some sort of even part-time staff will be a huge step in the right direction of making this program sustainable. Volunteers, we always need volunteers because we need everything from people who can volunteer to maintain the property because we do have a pretty large backyard, so mowing down the yard, to coming in and teaching the guys how to cook, to just basic life skills, resume building, things like that we need to be able to help the guys. Transportation, because right now we don't have vehicles, so if you are able to drive someone to work, that's an amazing thing that really gives the guy a hand up, and because we do believe in hand ups, not handouts.